Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin. I'm so grateful that you've taken a moment of your day to spend it with me, your guide to everything crypto and DeFi. We have a great broadcast for you today. Um, there's a lot of discussion in the markets about Trump, the president of the United States, and market manipulation. Is this the truth? Is this how we feel? Find out in just a moment. We're going to look at some DeFi news today concerning stablecoins, World Liberty Financial, and we're going to look at some charts and just kind of the general sentiment in the market. But before we begin, please like and subscribe, ping that notification bell, and send and share this video to anyone who'd like to learn a little bit more to navigate this crypto and DeFi market. But before I get into the news today, please check out our links below, especially our website, dadsdefispace.org. And please add me on X at CryptoZone1013 or Telegram, Dad DeFi 1013. But let's get to today's video or stream, excuse me. So we're going to take a look at the crypto bubbles on the day. You can see that the market turned red from yesterday. A lot of people, it's kind of hard to say why. Maybe to deal with CPI. Maybe it's just the uncertainty in the market that exists since Donald Trump has taken office. It's hard to say, but altcoins have been bleeding since this morning. Plume, RWA play down 11%. Sol is down negative 5.4%. Aave, and we got a little bit news about Aave. We can check out on our X account later today. Down 7%. Supra, one of our kind of riskier, newer layer one plays, down negative 8.9%. Basically, the entire rest of the altcoin market. If you look at the week, it's a little more mixed. Just like yesterday, Hype is still up. That's Hyperliquid, up 21.7%. And but the rest of the market pretty much is bleeding. Now, Core, it's looking pretty good. Core is a layer 2 on the Bitcoin network. We have a small position, but we may be unloading a little bit of that because I'm considering and we're working on downsizing the size of our portfolio. But before we get into the charts, let's take a look at just general market sentiment. This is today's fear and greed index. Fear is where the market is right now, although we are inching closer to neutral. The other day, we were sitting at 25, and less than 3 days ago, we were as low as 17 on fear and greed. The fear and greed index is an excellent indicator to get an idea of general market sentiment. A lot of times, if we are getting down in the extreme fear range, it makes a great buying opportunity. Like right here, fear very low, and price is pretty low with it. Right here, you were looking at the very bottom, fear of the lowest. You know, we're in the $30,000 range. Extreme fear in the bear market, super, super low. Hold on one second. I'm trying to adjust this. Bottom of the bear market, fear in the 20s. We're looking at 16,000. 21,000, extreme fear 11. And then let's take a look at when we're in extreme greed. See, extreme greed, 73. This is right at the top of last bull cycle, 61, 63,000. And fear and greed was sitting around 73. But don't use this just as a buy-sell indicator because sometimes Bitcoin can stay in fear for long periods of time. Bitcoin can also stay in greed for long periods of time. Keep that in mind. But it is a good general indicator, market sentiment indicator to look at, just to kind of have a general idea when to be buying, when to be selling. Now we're going to take a look at the altcoin season index. Right now, we are sitting at Bitcoin season. in 16. We are not in altcoin season until we are above 75, as you can see on this range. Now, we did peak above 75 briefly, right? This was the peak happening in December when all of us should have been selling more of our bags, me included. We won't make that mistake next pump. But this is a good indicator to know if your portfolio should be more Bitcoin heavy or more altcoin heavy, because when it's Bitcoin season, Bitcoin is going to more than likely outperform most altcoins. And when we are in altcoin season, when that number gets closer to the 75 range, then we are more in altcoins than Bitcoin, because altcoins will outperform Bitcoin during those time periods. But so right now, market is still heavily in fear. People are, they have higher allocations towards Bitcoin. And everyone is just waiting to see what is going to happen with Trump and the tariff war. So we're kind of playing a waiting game at this point. Now, before we go into the news, I wanted to take a look at some of the charts today, starting with the S&P 500. We are looking at the weekly. I want to go to the daily. And as you can see, we've had a massive red candle last week, and we have a massive green candle this week. Not quite as big as last week, though. Now, if we go on the daily, excuse me, you can see that yesterday we had this massive green candle on the S&P. I mean, wick to wick, you're looking at 10%. Today, candle's much smaller. We've been a little bit on the downtrend. You can see this a little bit more if you go to the 4-hour chart. Bam, bam, bam. It's hard to say what's going to happen next. Are we going to continue down, or are we going to continue on? Hard to say. That is why in this market, we need to have a plan either way. But lately, Bitcoin has been following the stock market. So it is important to keep an eye on the S&P, the NASDAQ, and just what's happening in the traditional space. All right. Next, I would like to take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Now, the Bitcoin dominance chart shows us when more greater percentage of the market is in Bitcoin rather than altcoins. I'm going to go on the daily chart. I have so many indicators on this. Hold on a second. Let's turn some of these off. Okay. There we go. It's a little bit better. And what you're looking at right now, you have the 50 MA, the 200 moving average, and then a trend line we've been watching. Now, as you can see right here, we broke above our Bitcoin dominance trend line, hitting as high as almost 65%. We actually 64.3, or excuse me, that's the wrong line. It's gotten moved. 64%. And then now we are back down around 63.3%, about 1% lower. I still think that we could break above and make a run to close to 65%. Top of this candle already is sitting at about 64.3. That's why we're in Bitcoin season. So be careful with those altcoin bags, because there still could be a little bit more bleeding into Bitcoin. But I truly believe that we're around in that point of the cycle where Bitcoin is going to start showing weakness towards Ethereum and other altcoins. It's just something to consider. Not financial advice, of course. And if I didn't let you know early in the video, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing today should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a dad who likes to play around in the DeFi space. And I want to show you what I'm looking at, how I'm thinking, and what some of my moves are. And hopefully you can take some knowledge from these videos and use them in your own investing journey. Now, I want to take a look at ETH Bitcoin on a shorter time frame today. So we're going to go back to the Ethereum Binance chart, but I want to go down starting with the 4-hour chart. There we go. I like that. Now, Ethereum Bitcoin bottomed out at 0.018. I did not expect Ethereum to bleed this much. But when the market got excited, when Trump put the tariffs on a 90-day pause, Ethereum Bitcoin had an approximately, let's see, about a 7% pump, which is pretty big for this chart. This is what we want to see. We want to see a huge drop off on this chart. I don't believe this is going to happen until we regain support of the 50-week moving average and the 200-week moving average. And to be quite honest, we need to get back above really, geez, it's way up here, the 0.03 level. Let's go into the daily chart now. Hold up. There we go. There's our trend line. So until we get back above the 50 and the 200, which is inside our trend line, I would be careful putting too much of my capital into altcoins. Again, not financial advice, just how I'm seeing the market. But I mean, this thing bled like crazy, right? And we could still go lower. The bottom of the last was about 0.016, but we are ending or getting close to that bottom. And that means something's going to have to give. Something's going to change unless the cycle is over. And again, if you have not watched our previous videos, you should check them out. But our line in the sand for Bitcoin and cryptos this market cycle is right around the lower 70K region. And I still think Bitcoin can go down, but we got to maintain that 70 to 73K region on Bitcoin. All right. But what has caused all this volatility in the market? Well, it's been none other than the President of the United States, right? And the President of the United States is now being accused of market manipulation. And that's because just hours before, Trump was announcing the pause on the 90-day tariffs. Just before, Trump posted, might be a good time to buy. I mean, kind of hard to say, but I think if it was me doing it, this could be considered market manipulate. Well, not me, because I'm not as important as the president. But my point being is the president of the United States telling people that this is a great time to buy. I understand why the other side is pointing fingers. Let's just say that. Now, those who were listening to the president netted huge gains, whether you were invested in stocks and crypto, whatever. We actually deleveraged a little bit more of our DeFi lending positions when this occurred because the pump went later into the day. But should one person have the power to pump the markets with a tweet? And I know we have talked about this before with Elon Musk. Oh, no. But I don't necessarily think this is a true free market. Sometimes it worries me, it bothers me because it feels like the original purpose of Bitcoin was to get away from government and government-backed money and investments. Be able for us to be the bank. Part of the reason that we preach on our channel of not just investing in cryptos, but learning how to use them within Web3 and the DeFi space. Learn how you can be the bank. And there's going to be a lot more videos coming out on that in the near future. But right before, or excuse me, the day before this tweet and Trump saying, hey, it's a great time to buy, the day before, when the market was way down, and I mean, there was a lot of big investment firms out there that were close or getting margin calls because the market had dropped that much over the last few weeks. But during that time, Trump's World Liberty Financial began selling Ethereum at a loss. The ETH losses eventually topped $125 million, which is crazy. In fact, they were selling ETH at $1,465. So Trump's World Liberty Financial sold on fear. We try not to sell our fear. We want to sell into the pumps, not into the dumps. Thing is, this $125 million loss doesn't mean that Ethereum is dead. Although I do know there's many people out there that believe that. I still think Ethereum is a great asset to earn yield on in the DeFi space. Now, just understand that a wallet connected to World Liberty Financial sold $8 million worth of their Ethereum after their portfolio racked up a $125 million loss. Now, understand they still hold almost $100 million of crypto, including 11 million Ether. But I bet everyone remembers 2 months ago when the president's son, Eric Trump, said it was a great time to buy ETH, and then ETH drops, what, 30%? Something like that. Crazy. Now, we're going to take a look at the World Liberty Financial crypto wallet. This is Arkham Intelligence. It has some of the best on-chain analysis of wallets. You can kind of even analyze your own wallets through this. But as you can see, they have about $26 million of stablecoins, $13 million of Bitcoin, $12 million of Ethereum, $11 million of USDT. So that makes a total of like what, 36 million in stables that can still be deployed later. 10 million of Tron, another 8 million of staked Ethereum, 6 million of White. Let's check this token real quick. It already had a pump not too long ago. Right. Now, some of the other tokens within the World Liberty Financial portfolio, we got Move, AVAX, and we're going to talk about AVAX a little bit later in the video if you stick around. Ondo Finance, of course, which has ties to BlackRock, RWA Space, Say, a layer 1 blockchain. It's just really fast. That has just taken a terrible loss recently. And I mean, we had playing in the Say network back when it was way above $1. And the rest are basically just a bunch of small meme coins and stuff that are sitting in their wallet that are just small amounts. But you could just take a look and see there hasn't been a lot of outflows. In fact, the majority, it's slowly ticking back up, right? Because they had this huge withdrawal that scared everyone of a huge amount of capital for corporate expenditures back in late January. Now, what was that we wanted to talk about AVAX today? Now, AVAX is a layer 1 blockchain. They have ties within RWA, ties in the gaming sphere, and we have an AVAX bag, of course. I talk about coins that I have. So I am a little biased on my own channel, of course. But if there are ever coins that you want me to look into, DeFi protocols, strategies, let me know in the comments below and I will do some research and check that out. But NASDAQ has filed for an Avalanche ETF for VanEck. So could the VanEck Avalanche ETF, could this spike their price? Possibly. Maybe, maybe not. But what this does tell me is if Sol is looking at an ETF, AVAX ETF, and so many other altcoins in the space, I do still believe we're going to have an altcoin season. That's just something to consider. Avalanche has was a darling of last cycle. It had a massive run. If we take a look at the AVAX chart, we'll just take a look at this one off of Binance. Last market cycle, AVAX topped out. Hold on, we were not looking far enough back. Sorry, now that I'm on the right chart, last market cycle, I mean, it topped off at $152. The bottom of the candles, not counting the wicks, about 129. That means if AVAX was able to get back up to its all-time high, which I don't know, maybe this cycle, I mean, you're looking at close to an 8 to 10x. That is crazy. But AVAX has been bleeding. It looks like it possibly put in a double top, possibly a triple on the weekly, and they've gotten a little bit lower. So I do have some concerns, but we do have a levered position on AVAX, on Aave, although about half of mine right now is sitting in stables because it's hard to say what could happen. But when altcoins start running, I'm expecting AVAX to get back up at minimum to the all-time high of this year, $65. And we'll probably take some profits around the $55 to $60 range. And then I expect to also see some resistance right around here where we've touched a lot, which is right around $33 to $36 range. Now, this is not advanced TA by any means, but looking at the weekly chart, you can definitely see some support and resistance in this range right about there, and also around 55 to 60 right here. All right. That is enough about AVAX today. We'll make another video about AVAX later. And we have another video from the past that got into more detail about AVAX news and some of our bullish thesis on it. Check it out. It's on our YouTube channel, Dads DeFi Space. And check out our webpage too at dadsdefispace.org and educate yourself on crypto and DeFi. All right. So one of the last things that I wanted to talk about today, and I plan on making a more long form video on that, is the SEC has ruled that covered stable coins, and we're referring to USDT, USDC. These are ones that are not algorithmic stable coins, ones that are backed one-to-one with cash or US treasuries, securities, are not securities. Now, this is massive. And we know that recently Coinbase has been asking for deregulation of the stablecoin space so yield can be offered on chain. Think money markets. This is humongous. And we at Dad's DeFi Space are bullish on the stablecoin narrative. Stablecoins are going to be our entrance into traditional finance. This could bring big money in, and the blockchains that support stablecoins are going to be the ones that benefit. And that's going to include Ethereum, Solana, Sway, many others out there. What I wanted to do is talk a little bit about what the SEC said They said, generally speaking, that stablecoins are not securities. And basically, what was said by the regulators division was that stablecoins do not need to register with the SEC, right? And they said on covered stablecoins, these are designed to create a stable value relative to the American dollar and other assets that are considered low risk. Um, I do believe that in the past, Trump and the White House have said they want to use stable coins to help kind of prop up the US dollar. Because the stablecoin space, if you don't know, is one of the largest clients and buyers in the world of US debt. I'd rather those companies be buying our debt than China. Just saying. Now, let's take a look at DeFi Llama because I wanted to take a look at stable coins, right? So taking a look at stable coins, let me bring this up. Hold on. There we go. This will give you an overview of the stable coin market. As you can see, over the last, well, really since September-ish of 2013, we have been on a total uptrend with stable coins. USDT dominance is still at 62%. That USDT is the largest stable coin in the world. Below that, you have USDC, Athena, USDE, SkyDollar, DAI, which is a algorithmic stablecoin, BlackRock's USDC, you have PayPal in the top 10, and then you have some other ones below. What amazes me is that Barachain's Honey token stablecoin, this one is sitting at number 15, which tells you something, possibly. And I don't have a large Barachain position, but I am keeping an eye on it. The total stablecoin market cap is sitting at $233 billion, right? And as you can see, what chains have these stablecoins? Well, you got a list right here. Ethereum, Tron, Solana, Binance Chain, Base, Arbitrum, Hyperliquid, Polygon, Avalanche, Barachain, Aptos, Dawn Network, and there's others, right? Every one of these up here, Sway, Near, Optimism, yada, yada, yada. Any of the major chains that are taking on larger amounts of total value locked as stable coins are probably going to see some price appreciation throughout this last leg of the bull. It is something that I'm looking at in my research, and you can consider yourself. But this is the end of the stream today, and I don't have anything else unless there's those of you out there that have any questions or comments. So please let me know what content you would like to see, what coins you want me to talk about, what DeFi protocols you'd like to know more about, because I like doing this research for you, for me. It's just beneficial for everyone. Finally, I appreciate each and every one of you all today. And I hope that the rest of your week and weekend treat you very well. We got videos coming out on still correlation. I want to do a more detailed one on stable coins. And of course, I appreciate each and every one of you who came into the stream today. And check out our links below, like and subscribe, and stay safe out there and touch some grass this weekend. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.